First contact and cultural shock. Ambassador Xerxes adjusted the environmental controls on his diplomatic suit as the transport ship docked with the human space station Concordia. The atmospheric mixture humans breathe naturally would cause his respiratory system to seize within minutes without protection. Despite extensive preparation, Xerxes felt a flutter of nervous anticipation in his secondary cardiac chamber. Ambassador, final approach complete. Human delegation awaits in the reception bay, announced his aide, Nelvera, her slender fingers dancing across the ship's control panel. Thank you, Nelvera. Remember our briefing. Humans are new to the galactic stage, but preliminary reports suggest they are reasonable and eager for peaceful relations. Xerxes rose to his full height of nearly 8 feet, his iridescent scales shifting from deep blue to a more diplomatic purple. Though there are concerning elements to their society we must evaluate. The airlock cycled open with a hiss of equalizing pressure. Beyond it stood 5 humans in formal attire, 3 males and 2 females according to their records, smiling with their peculiar lipless mouths. Xerxes' translator implant hummed as it prepared to convert their speech. Ambassador Xerxes, welcome to Concordia Station. I'm Director Helena Chen, Earth Diplomatic Corps. The lead human extended a hand, a greeting gesture his briefing had prepared him for. As Xerxes' 4-fingered hand met hers in the customary human shake, his integrated scanner discreetly analyzed the delegation. What it revealed caused his scales to flash a momentary yellow of alarm before he controlled himself. Every human present was armed, not ceremonially, but practically. Director Chen carried an energy pistol at her hip, partially concealed by her jacket. The male to her right had both a visible sidearm and what appeared to be a blade sheathed at his ankle. Even the smiling female at the back, introduced as cultural attaché, had 3 separate devices his scanner classified as weapons. The honor is mine, Director Chen, Xerxes replied smoothly, betraying none of his concern. The Galactic Union looks forward to establishing formal relations with humanity. As they proceeded through the station's curved corridors, Xerxes observed everything. The station itself was beautiful, a testament to human engineering and aesthetics with its sweeping viewports and efficient design. Yet every 3rd human they passed was visibly armed, and his scanner indicated most others carried concealed weapons. Your station is impressive, Xerxes commented as they entered a large conference room overlooking Earth. The blue-green planet dominated the view, clouds swirling across its surface, particularly for a species so new to space travel. We've had to adapt quickly, Chen replied. But adaptation is what humans do best. The meeting proceeded with discussions of trade, cultural exchange, and the basic framework for Earth's potential membership in the Galactic Union. Throughout, Xerxes found the humans to be intelligent, reasonable, and genuinely interested in peaceful cooperation, all while remaining armed like soldiers entering combat. During a break in proceedings, Xerxes quietly consulted with Nelvera in their native tongue. A series of clicks and whistles beyond human hearing. Have you confirmed my observations? He asked. Yes, Ambassador. Every human we've encountered carries at least 1 weapon. Most carry 3 or more. Even more concerning, the station itself contains enough firepower to destroy a small moon. Yet their behavioral patterns show no signs of aggression or fear. Xerxes contemplated this paradox as the humans returned with refreshments. When they resumed, he decided on directness. Director Chen, if I may ask a somewhat personal question, is it Earth custom to carry weapons to peaceful diplomatic meetings? The humans exchanged glances, but showed no embarrassment or surprise. I understand your concern, Ambassador, Chen replied calmly. What you're identifying as weapons we consider tools and safety measures, standard equipment for space operations. Tools. Xerxes' translator must have glitched. A male human. Commander Jackson, according to his introduction, leaned forward. Perhaps I can explain. Humans evolved on a planet that tried to kill us daily. Predators, weather, geological instability, constant threats. We survived by turning everything around us into tools for survival. But these are clearly designed to harm, Zarex countered, gesturing discreetly to the sidearm visible under Jackson's jacket. Multi-purpose, Jackson corrected. This device can cut through metal in an emergency, weld materials together, signal for help, or yes, defend against threats. In human history, those unprepared rarely survived long enough to create anything meaningful. Before Zarex could process this perspective, alarms blared throughout the station. Red emergency lights pulsed along the corridors. Structural integrity breach in Sector 7, announced a calm computer voice. Emergency protocols activated. The humans moved with practiced efficiency. Instead of panic, Zarex observed what appeared to be rehearsed coordination. Ambassador, please remain here with Nelvera, Director Chen instructed, already moving toward the door. We'll handle this. Curiosity overcoming protocol. Zarex followed at a distance, Nelvera protesting behind him. Through station surveillance he accessed on his portable device, he watched as the humans rushed toward a section where a maintenance accident had ruptured an oxygen line and damaged structural supports. What happened next changed everything Zarex thought he understood about humans. The weapons they carried transformed before his eyes into exactly what they had claimed: tools. Energy weapons reconfigured into cutting torches to free trapped workers. A blade became a pry bar. Communication devices coordinated rescue efforts. One human used what Zarex had identified as a grenade to instantly seal the hull breach with expanding foam. Within 12 minutes, the emergency was contained, casualties were receiving treatment, and repairs were underway. No panicking, no chaos, just efficient problem-solving using the tools they kept ready at all times. When Director Chen returned to the conference room, her formal jacket was gone, her face smudged with residue from the emergency. My apologies for the interruption, Ambassador. A coolant malfunction, but it's under control. Zarex studied her with new eyes. I observe your response team. Most impressive. Standard emergency protocols. Nothing special. I believe I've misunderstood something fundamental about humans, Zarex admitted. Your relationship with what my people would call weapons seems different. Chen smiled. Ambassador, humanity spent most of its development fighting, not just each other, but our environment. The tools we carry reflect that history. We don't arm ourselves because we expect conflict. We arm ourselves because we expect the unexpected. Later that evening, Zarex recorded his initial impressions for the Union Council. Humans present a unique paradox, he dictated. They approach with open hands while carrying concealed weapons. They speak of friendship while prepared for combat. Most puzzling of all, they seem unaware of how strange this appears to other species. He paused, considering the day's events. Initial assessment suggests humans are not inherently aggressive, despite their armaments. Rather, they appear to be pathologically prepared. Their definition of peaceful includes being ready for any eventuality, a concept foreign to Union species, but perhaps understandable given their planetary history. Zarex looked out at Earth through his viewport. Recommend proceeding with caution, but also with an open mind. Humans may be armed, but today I witnessed those arms save lives. I request permission to visit the human homeworld to better understand the environment that produced such a paradoxical species. As he finished his report, Zarex realized that his fear had been replaced by something unexpected: curiosity. Perhaps there was more to learn from these tool-carrying, peace-seeking humans than the Union had anticipated. Learning through experience. The diplomatic shuttle shuddered as it entered Earth's atmosphere, buffeted by winds stronger than anything Zarex had experienced on his homeworld. Outside the viewport, clouds roiled and lightning flashed, a demonstration of the planet's volatile nature. Weather system intensifying, noted the human pilot, Commander Jackson, with surprising calm. Atmospheric disturbances are common in this region. Is it dangerous? Asked Nelvera, her scales shifting to an anxious yellow. Jackson shrugged, that peculiar human gesture of casual dismissal. Nothing the shuttle can't handle. We build for Earth conditions. Those 3 words, Earth conditions, had taken on new meaning for Zirex during his preparation for this visit. The human homeworld featured atmospheric pressure 20% higher than galactic standard, gravity 15% above what most spacefaring species evolved with, and weather patterns so volatile they would qualify as disasters on most developed worlds. And humans evolved here naturally? Zirex asked, watching lightning strike a distant mountain. Not just evolved, replied Dr. Rice, the expedition's xenobiologist. We thrived here. This is the mild part of the planet. The shuttle descended toward the North American Administrative Zone, specifically the Rocky Mountain Research Station, where Zirex would spend 2 weeks learning about human culture firsthand. As they approached, Zirex marveled at the dramatic landscape. Jagged mountains thrust upward, deep valleys carved by ancient waters, forests covering vast territories. Beautiful, he admitted, but treacherous. That's Earth in 2 words, Jackson laughed. The research station appeared below them, an elegant complex of structures nestled against a mountainside. Solar collectors gleamed in the afternoon sun, and Zirex noted with interest the defensive perimeter, subtle but comprehensive. After landing and settling into his specially prepared quarters, Zirex was invited to an informal gathering with the station's scientific team. To his surprise, even here, a peaceful research facility far from any conflict zone, the humans carried their ubiquitous tools. Dr. Rice wore a utility belt with what appeared to be at least 5 devices, his scanner classified as potential weapons. The station director had both visible and concealed items. Yet the atmosphere was relaxed, friendly, curious. Scientists eagerly shared their research, asked thoughtful questions about Union species, and demonstrated none of the tension their armaments might suggest. During dinner, a fascinating experience with the specialized nutrition provided alongside human cuisine, Zirex finally asked the question that had been bothering him since first contact. I understand that Earth can be dangerous, but this facility seems secure. Why does everyone still carry weapons here? The conversation paused, but not awkwardly. The humans exchanged glances that seemed to decide who would answer. Ambassador, began Dr. Rice, setting down her eating utensils. 3 years ago, this station experienced a sudden geological event, what we call an avalanche. Tons of snow and rock came down that mountainside without warning. She pointed toward the window. We lost power, communications, and access routes simultaneously. The tools we carry, continued Jackson, allowed us to cut through collapsed structures, signal for help, provide emergency medical care, and defend against wildlife drawn to the chaos. 17 lives were saved because everyone had what they needed immediately available. But such events must be rare, Zirex countered. The station director shook her head. In the past decade, this facility has experienced 3 major weather events, 2 geological incidents, 1 forest fire, and a surprise visit from a hungry bear. Earth doesn't give warnings, Ambassador. Before Zirex could respond, an alarm sounded, different from the emergency signal on the space station, but unmistakably urgent. Perimeter alert, Sector 4, announced a calm computerized voice. Unidentified biological entities approaching from the northwest. Wildlife protocol engage. Instead of fear, Zirex observed the humans respond with practiced efficiency. Some continued eating while others checked devices on their wrists. The station director excused herself briefly, returning moments later. Wolf pack moving through the outer perimeter, she explained. Automated systems are tracking them, but security will ensure they're directed away from the station. Does this happen often? Asked Nelvera. 3 or 4 times a month, said Dr. Reyes casually. Usually wolves or bears, occasionally more exotic visitors. Nothing to worry about. Zirex marveled at their nonchalance toward what his species would consider a significant threat. The dinner continued as if uninterrupted, the humans seemingly unconcerned that large predators lurked just beyond their walls. The following day brought unexpected education. What was planned as a short tour of the surrounding forest research plots turned dramatic when a sudden storm descended from the mountains. Within minutes, gentle rainfall transformed into driving sheets of water. The temperature dropped precipitously, and wind howled through the trees. "We need shelter," Jackson shouted over the storm, already pulling equipment from his pack. Equipment Xerex had classified as weapons. The energy tool that could function as a pistol now cut branches. The serrated combat knife cleared undergrowth. Communication devices established position and identified a nearby research blind. Huddled in the small shelter as the storm raged, Xerex watched Jackson use another weapon, a small device that emitted focused heat, to warm the space and dry their clothing. "This is why we carry what we carry," Jackson explained, noticing Xerex's attention. "Not because we expect to fight, but because we expect this." He gestured to the storm outside. "Earth doesn't care about your plans." When they returned to the station, Xerex spent hours updating his report to the Union Council, his understanding of humans fundamentally altered. On the final day of his visit, the station hosted a formal diplomatic reception. Representatives from Earth's various administrative zones gathered to discuss potential Union membership. Xerex noted with interest that the more formal the occasion, the more elaborately armed the humans appeared, yet always with their tools partially concealed, as if acknowledging their paradoxical approach to peace. During the proceedings, Director Chen requested a private conversation with Xerex in the station's observation dome. As they gazed at stars partially obscured by Earth's atmosphere, she asked the question he'd been expecting. "What will you tell your council about us, Ambassador?" Xerex considered carefully before answering. "That humans are unlike any species the Union has encountered. You approach the galaxy with genuine desire for peaceful cooperation, while maintaining constant readiness for conflict. It is challenging to categorize." Chen smiled. "May I offer a perspective? Humans don't see preparation as contrary to peace. We see it as the foundation of peace." "Explain," Xerex requested. "In human history, those who couldn't protect themselves rarely had the opportunity to choose peace. Those who were prepared could afford to be peaceful because they could survive the consequences of others' aggression or nature's indifference." She turned to face him directly. "The average emergency response time across Union worlds is 11 hours. Earth's is 22 minutes, not because we're more advanced, but because we're always ready. The same tools that make us seem threatening to you save countless lives daily. A civilization built on pragmatism rather than ideology," Xerex observed. "Exactly. We don't carry tools because we want conflict. We carry them because we've learned that being unprepared costs lives." As Xerex prepared to depart Earth the next morning, an unexpected honor guard of humans lined the path to his shuttle. Each wore formal attire. Each carried their tools openly for the first time, not pointed at him, but held at attention. Commander Jackson approached and presented Xerex with a small device, a multi-tool, Ambassador. Nothing that would violate Union protocols, but something that might prove useful when the unexpected occurs. Xerex accepted the gift, understanding the profound gesture behind it. Humans were sharing their philosophy of readiness, not as a threat, but as wisdom gained through difficult evolution. His final report to the Union Council emphasized this new understanding. Humans do not separate tools of creation from tools of destruction, as our philosophy does. To them, the same device that can harm can also heal, depending on circumstance and intention. Their readiness is not aggression but adaptation, a response to evolving on a world that never allowed them the luxury of unpreparedness. I recommend accepting humans into the Union not despite their armed nature, but partially because of it. A species that can remain peaceful while prepared for war, that can build while ready to destroy, offers unique perspective our collective would benefit from. 6 standard months later, when a catastrophic reactor failure threatened a Union station in the Cygnus sector, it was a human emergency team, armed with their multi-purpose tools and practiced efficiency, that arrived first. cutting through radiation-worked bulkheads and stabilizing the core before Union engineers could even board their ships. As Zirex watched the report, the human multi-tool Jackson had given him rested in his hand. He finally understood completely. Humans weren't paradoxical after all. They were simply prepared, and in a dangerous universe, preparedness was perhaps the truest path to lasting peace.